So I've always been really bad at school, and I mean like really bad. I failed practically every test I ever took, and whenever I managed to pass any of my classes, it was only ever by a small percentage. This was mainly because I just didn't care about my grades in high school, and I always figured that I didn't really need to go to university because getting an office job was for squares, and I'd just be such a talented animator that Disney would be begging on their knees to hire me to animate their next big hit. And now I'm 26 years old, working 24/7 at a truck stop motel in the middle of nowhere, getting paid under minimum wage, so clearly that plan worked out flawlessly. My worst year of high school, though, was easily my final year in grade 12. See, in Canada, when you turn 18, your school loses the right to call your parents if you skip class because now you're magically a fully fledged adult despite still being at an age where you think 3 cigarettes and a Monster Energy drink classify as breakfast. So obviously I took advantage of that by never going to school. I went to maybe one class a week and thought, wow, this is rad. Being an adult is pretty cool. Until about 2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate, and I saw my report card and realized I had just 2 weeks to pass all my classes or else I'd flunk high school. My only option now is to smarten up and to put 110% into finishing my final assignments, which were 30% of my final grade. Doing well in these would have allowed me to pass and not end up like Hannah Montana's brother. But how was I supposed to do that? Like I said, I didn't go to any of my classes, and I had no idea what was going on in any of them, so I had to pull some big brain moves. I went up to the smartest person in each of my classes and offered them money to do my final assignments for me. Like they say, work smarter, no harder. Now at the time, I was working as an animator for a certain, now dead YouTube company. Anyway, despite failing art class, I was making $200 per week animating at the time, and when you're a teen in high school, that's basically like being Jeff Bezos, so I didn't really mind parting with $100 so my mom didn't unleash her Slavic wrath on me. Thankfully, even having $10 as a high schooler is the equivalent of being able to afford a down payment on a house, so $100 was a pretty easy bribe. I swear it was kind of like I was Pablo Escobar, except instead of bribing for something cool, I was just trying to make sure my mom didn't yell at me. And by the end of it, everyone did all my assignments. I passed all my classes by the hairs of my chinny chin chin, and I was able to make it to my high school graduation. What I didn't expect was when I went to go down the aisle to shake the hands of all my teachers on my way to grab my diploma, one of my teachers grabbed my hand while everyone else was staring at me and said, "I'm gonna be honest with you here, man. We're all surprised you made it here today. You shouldn't be here." And I mean, he wasn't wrong, so moral of the story here is, if at first you don't succeed, commit federal fraud. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. A special thank you as well to my patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like behind the scenes access to the videos, animation tutorials, and access to the patron only Discord, then check me out on there, and I hope you all have a rad day.